Marin Humane Beginning Puppy Class Orientation. Welcome to Beginning Puppy Class. Thank you so much for sharing your puppy with us. My name is Dawn Covell and I'm going to be talking to you through this orientation. We're very happy to have you. We're going to talk about housekeeping, the management relationship triad, what to bring to class, and a summary of the orientation. First of all, this video orientation will take about an hour. You should also receive some orientation supplemental materials with your download. We have some homework assignments for you. Of course, it is class and practice. That is the most important thing that you can do. Just some housekeeping stuff to get out of the way. First of all, please bring, or better yet, send in your vaccination history. We are interested in the DA2PP and Bordetella. If you've had rabies shots for your puppy already, then you can send us that as well. It is our preference that you send the material to us via email, scan an email to obehave@marinhumane.org. But if that doesn't work, you can bring it to class. Additionally, in your download, when you enrolled, you should have received a class profile. That gives us a lot of information about you, your puppy, things you might want to address, and any concerns that you might have. Finally, if you live in Marin County, please have your puppy licensed. You may want to wait until after he or she is altered, as the fees are a little bit different, but do be aware that we have the information on our website. Make note of the location indicated on your registration form. We do have multiple locations in Marin County. We have indoor and outdoor classes. So check out your registration and do check your email and your phone messages the day before class or the morning before class, just in case something has changed. We recommend that you arrive early, just to give your puppy some time to acclimate. It's important to let dogs sniff around and check out the environment. They need to feel safe, and so give them time to investigate. You can walk them around campus on leash, which does bring me to the campus leash rules. Anytime your puppy is on campus, unless they're in class and your instructor indicates, your puppy should be on leash. We are a working animal shelter, and we require that all the dogs be on leash for safety. We have some shelter dog areas that are fenced off. Those are for the shelter dog use. We will use them for classes, but we do not have any public dog parks at this campus. For the check-in process, when you arrive, please walk in and go directly to an open station where there's a chair and maybe a divider and possibly a crate. We would prefer that you go sit down and our team will come check you in. We would like to avoid people and puppies getting gummed up at the doorway. This is a map of the campus in case you've never been here. You will notice the areas where we most often have classes are the training pavilion, sometimes the classroom, and our outdoor classes are in Holden Park or Katie's Park. And of course, our agility and flyball classes are on the sports field. So just a little bit of an orientation to the campus. The first main topic that we're going to address is the MRT triad, which is basically management, relationship, and training. These are the three main concepts that work synergistically to help work on the puppy of your dreams, actually. Our first topic, and it's near and dear to everybody's heart who has a puppy, is house training. I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to really work hard on house training in the first few months, and it will reap dividends for the rest of your dog's life. Otherwise, you could struggle with this issue for a very long time. So if you're going to be consistent in one area, this is the area you want to be consistent. So we're going to start off. In fact, this is your first homework assignment. It's called the potty party game. And basically, it's setting up a routine so that you can take your puppy outside and they will eliminate pretty quickly. So basically, you know, a potty walk is purposeful. So have your dog on leash. You want to try and find some organic substrate. Sniffing is great. Once, you know, you will stand still and let the puppy move in a circle around you, but don't follow him around once you've found a place to go. Try and find a location that is pretty quiet, so there aren't a lot of distractions. If your puppy is distracted or feels unsafe or insecure, they're not gonna go to the bathroom. So quiet location, on organic substrate with not too much going on, and then just wait. You know, hopefully he walks in a circle around you and he sniffs and he finds the right spot. If he eliminates, or as he eliminates, you can attach a verbal cue to it, like potty or whatever you want it to be. And then when he's done, when he's completely done going to the bathroom, reward him with a treat. The other thing that you want to consider is you don't want to take your puppy outside and as soon as they go to the bathroom, take them back inside unless they want to go back inside. Otherwise, your puppy will learn how to delay his elimination to get more outdoor time. So give him his reward, a little food reward, maybe play a little game with him, and then take him back inside. If you are unsuccessful, if your puppy doesn't go to the bathroom, you can take him back inside and either put him in a crate, put them on a tie down, put them in an X pen. We'll talk about all those things later, but you want to make sure that they cannot go in the house. So you have to manage them very carefully if they didn't go. If they did go, you know that you've got, hey, I've got an hour where I can relax just a little bit. It is really, really important to be consistent with this whole potty thing. And again, it's super frustrating in the beginning, but if you're consistent, it'll pay off. Crates are probably my favorite house training tool. You teach your puppy to go in a crate, and most puppies, if they're in the correct size crate, will not eliminate inside the crate if they are taken out often enough. So he doesn't want to soil his bedding area. There are a few puppies who will eliminate in their crate, and that is a little bit more difficult situation to, it's difficult and more unusual. So that would require a little bit further discussion. But basically crates are wonderful for house training. They are also a really good tool to teach a hyperactive puppy an off button or to chill. Some of you might have super mellow puppies, and that's fantastic. But a lot of us have very hyper, busy, almost frenetic puppies. And puppies are just like toddlers. You know, when they get tired, they sort of amp up and you think, oh, they're not tired at all. But they actually are tired and they need this off button. And the crate provides a great off button. Crates are also very, very useful when you travel. It is worth teaching your puppy and acclimating your puppy to love his crate. There are many different types of crates that are portable. When you're first teaching your puppy, you want to use, my preference is to use the plastic crates, as in this picture. The wire crates are okay, but not my favorite. At any rate, don't use the portable canvas crates until you've actually trained your puppy and he knows that he can't get out. Crates are also useful for many behavior modification applications. You might not have any behavior problems right now, but adolescence is the next thing coming. So it is great to have a crate trained puppy in case you need to use it for behavior modification. The other thing the crate is wonderful for is just household management. You know, puppies require almost constant supervision. And when they aren't being supervised, they should be in a crate or another management area. Even if you just want to sit down and have a glass of wine and watch television, your puppy can be in the room with you in a crate with something to chew on, and that is perfectly fine. It's a way to give yourself a break and to give your puppy the information that it's chill time. We have some quick crate training quick tips here. One easy way to get your puppy to like his crate is to give him all of his meals in the crate. What you will find is that your puppy will learn that when you are making dinner, he will head on over to his crate and wait for you there. So you want to create a situation where your puppy wants to go to the crate, and feeding him his meals in the crate is a great way to do it. Same thing for his special chew toys. If you're giving him an edible chew, the crate is the place to put it. So basically the message is that all good things happen in the crate. You may consider having a crate in multiple rooms in your house. If you have a big house, you might have a crate in 3 different areas. I would recommend one crate be in the family living area, the area where the family spends most of their time. I would recommend a second crate in the bedroom. And if you find you need another crate somewhere like an office, by all means. Crates are moderately expensive, but you can pick them up secondhand. And it's just a nice thing to be able to set your puppy in a crate, give him something to do while you carry on with life. Crate size is a little bit tricky when you have a puppy because obviously your puppy's going to grow. So you have 2 choices. The first choice is to buy or try to buy a crate at the size that you think your puppy will top out at. So basically his adult dog size. If you do that, then you have to figure out a way to split or partition the crate so that they don't have enough room to potty in the corner and then lay down at the other end. So that's the first option. The second option is to buy a couple different crates during your puppy's lifetime, just trading up as you go. So whichever way works for you, go for it, but strongly recommend crate training. The other thing about crate training, where I think people run into a lot of problems, is they tend to use the crate just very specifically for, I'm going to crate my puppy when I leave. This can create a lot of problems because the crate becomes associated with abandonment, essentially. Every time my person puts me in the crate, they leave and I'm alone and I hate the crate. So you want to make sure that you're using the crate routinely for a variety of things, not just putting your puppy in a crate and leaving. So sleeping, eating, chill time, watching a movie, hanging out with them, so that the crate doesn't become associated with social isolation, basically. So routine use of the crate, even if you're home, is very important to get a puppy used to it. You want to think of the crate as just another bed for your dog. Our next exercise, this is your second homework from this orientation. It is our crate training exercise, and this is very easy. Basically, what you do is you have your crate and make sure your puppy is outside the crate, and then you take some treats, some really amazing, wonderful treats, and you put the treats inside the crate and leave the puppy outside the crate. So, and let your puppy see that you're putting treats in there, let him sniff it. When you have the treats inside the crate, shut the door. Puppy's still on the outside. The puppy will sniff and scratch to get in. Hopefully he'll ask to go in the crate. At that point, let him in, let him eat the treats, and then leave the door open. You are trying to align, in all kinds of dog training, you're trying to align your puppy's interests with your own. So you want him to be in the crate, so figure out a way to make him want to go in the crate. So that is homework number 2. Another management tool that a lot of people really like are X pens. X pens are useful for many of the same things that crates are. The negative of the X pen is that some dogs can, if they want to escape from it, they can escape. They can climb it, they can knock it over. Most don't, but some of your very intrepid puppies will definitely escape. The other slight negative or con to the X pen is that it can take up more space. On the flip side, I think a lot of people like the idea of giving their puppy more space. The crate seems small, But truth be told, the crate is like a den. The X-Pen takes up more space. And you need to make sure that, that you're taking them out regularly, because you really don't want them pottying inside the X-Pen. Tie downs are another useful tool for house training. So X-Pens, tie downs, crates, all three are great tools for house training, and household management for that matter. The one big difference between, let's say, the tie down and the crate is the crate is a safe place to leave your puppy, and you can leave the room or leave the house, whereas a tie down should only be used when you are in the room and actively supervising the puppy. A tie down is about a 2-foot long, give or take, cable with clips on each end. One end clips to the wall or a really heavy piece of furniture. The other clips to the puppy. In our little diagram, you can see the puppy on the tie down, sleeping on his bed with a chewy. So a nice chew toy on a bed with a tie down. I do like tie downs. I think this is a worthwhile thing to teach your dog as well. And they have to learn how to be on a tie down. It's not just a matter of sticking the puppy on the tie down and voila. He needs to learn how to do this. So the best way to do it is, if you're going to sit down in the family room and you're going to have some quiet time or watch a movie, the tie down should be in an area next to you, and the puppy gets something to chew on. Hopefully he's a little bit tired from already being exercised. You put him on the tie down and you hang out. And it's basically, you're using the tie down to create a living environment that you want to have where the tie down not there. So picture yourself on the sofa, your puppy on his bed, and life being nice and calm. There are two things to consider about the tie down that could be considered caveats or negatives. The first is, if you have a multiple dog household, the dog on a tie down is at a disadvantage because he cannot leave. One of the dog's key behavior strategies is avoidance or leaving, and you're taking that away from them. So if you have a multiple dog household, then you might consider having a tie down for all of the dogs. So dogs are either on a tie down or off a tie down. Tie downs can be used for behavior modification. Let's say you have a multiple dog household and they will fight over chewies. So you would set up 3 different tie downs spaced apart. That's when they get their chewies. You give them the chewies, put them on the tie down, and then you take the chewies away and let them off the tie down. The other thing that you want to consider is, if you have children and a puppy in a crate is much safer from the children than if he were on the tie down. So sometimes a puppy on a tie down with a bone and children running around is not a good mixture, but a crate is fine. So tie downs have the advantage of being very portable. You just pick them up and go. It's also very good for your puppy to learn that they are going to be on a tie down and you might walk to the other room and life is good. They're okay. Another form of management in the household is baby gates. You can use baby gates to make a space smaller. When you are house training, you want the puppy to be in a very small space. The bigger the space, the harder it is to house train a dog. Baby gates are also good for behavior modification. Let's say you're barking at the doorbell or something like that. So baby gates are a nice option, and I recommend the ones that have the door in them. You might not think of physical exercise as a management tool, but it is. You can see that puppy is a tired puppy. He was playing with his toy and fell asleep with his toy in his mouth. So that's a picture we all want to see. So things to consider for your puppy are walks. You can teach them to play in water, get them comfortable with water so that swimming might be an option later on down the road. You can teach them, you can do little body awareness exercises where they put their 2 front feet up on something or their back feet up on something. Interactive people play, little bit of toy, little bit of chase. It is very, very important for you to play with your puppy rather than giving your puppy toys and saying, okay, go have fun. You need to participate. You can have your puppy play with other puppies. We're going to talk about that a bit more later. Basically, in terms of physical exercise for puppies, you want a variety of different activities, and you want to time it around house training and nap time. Another management tool is mental exercise. One of the best forms of mental exercise is or are scenting or hunting games. This is where you teach your puppy to hunt for food. Dogs love to hunt for things, and they love to sniff, and sniffing is a calming, beneficial exercise for them to be doing. The dog in this picture is actually doing structured sniffing. He's doing a sport called nose work, and he's trying to locate an odor on this vehicle. Another great way to tire out your puppy is training him, just teaching him little obedience exercises or tricks. Mental exercise can tire out a puppy as much as physical exercise. And believe me, your goal is to have a tired puppy. You're going to see a couple of different videos coming up here. One is the hunt game, and then there's going to be a cup game and a towel game. And these are basically just little structured exercises that you can do with your puppy to help make him tired.
This trick is called an AKC Find It and can also be used to teach your dog or puppy hunting games for enrichment. Let your dog sniff the treat before you place it under a cup. When placing the treat, only cover half of it at first to make sure it is easy for your dog. You may want to use a bigger piece or smell your treat to make it exciting for your dog at the beginning. Let your dog try to get the treat with his paw or nose. The goal is simply find the treat hidden underneath the object. You can also ask your dog for a sit or down to practice your impulse control behaviors while you set up the treat and the cup. Then give him the cue like hunt or search as you point to the cup to start the game. Once he's good at the cup version, try it with other objects such as a toy or boxes or other novel items. The cup game is a fun mental enrichment game. Take 3 to 5 paper cups and poke a small hole in the bottom of each cup. Turn the cups upside down and place a pungent treat under one of the cups. Let the puppy sniff at and push around the cups until he finds the treats. Cup knocking is okay. The taller the cup, the easier it is for the puppy to find the treat. The towel game is a fun scenting enrichment game for puppies. Take a dish towel and place some treats in the middle of the towel. Fold the towel in half and then in half again. Let the puppy work at the towel until he's uncovered the treats. Please supervise puppy so that there is no towel ingesting.
Another management tool and really a critical component of the dog's teething process are chew toys. You want durable chew toys. You want to have a variety. You want textures that are nice on their teeth. We encourage toy stuffing, stuffed Kongs. There's lots of stuffed toys now where you put food in toys and they spend a lot of time trying to get the food out. And chew toys can be self-entertaining. This is what you would give a puppy a chew toy, put them in the crate, give the puppy a chew toy, put them on the tie down. They have something to do, so they're happy. Life is good. Another activity are enrichment toys. And these toys are deliberately structured to be used with food, and they're puzzles for the puppy to figure out. The first is the snuffle mat. You can make these at home. Plenty of do-it-yourself instructions on the internet. But basically you put a lot of little bits of food inside the fleece of the snuffle mat, and then you let your puppy find it all. The food puzzle toys are a little bit different in that they require the puppy to do something a little bit more than hunt. Maybe they have to roll a ball around and food falls out. You'll see a video coming up shortly about a puppy's first attempt at a puzzle toy. Also, you need to manage your puppy while you're walking. One of the number one issues we see in dog training classes are puppies that pull on leash, dogs that pull on leash, that sort of thing. We recommend harnesses for puppies. They are delicate. They might not feel delicate when they're hauling you down the street, but they are. The front clip harnesses work the best for pulling, or not pulling, stopping the pulling. Although harnesses that have both a front clip and a back clip can be quite useful. Small dogs can wear the vest type harnesses quite nicely, small dog breeds, so that's another option. We also recommend that the puppy wear a flat collar that has his ID. And in fact, you can't be too careful. You can put ID on both the collar and the harness, in addition to, of course, microchipping. One tool that I think is often overlooked are long lines. Long lines are basically a long leash. That's one way to look at it. They can be from 10 to 15 feet to 30 or 40 feet. And basically, this simulates being off leash. So one critical mistake that all of us pretty much make, we go somewhere, we take our puppy off leash, and they have no trained recall. And it's not as if they will automatically come when you call. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't, but you don't really want them to learn that it's optional. Plus, there's safety concerns with a puppy who doesn't already have a recall. So it's really important to have some sort of management tool, and a long line is just something that can drag behind the puppy so that if you need to stop them or gather them up, you can just step on the long line and pick up the, have some control of the puppy, even though he might be 10, 15, 20 feet away. There's a variety of length and width and materials. The ones pictured are biothane. Those are quite nice. They come in lovely colors, and they are mold proof. You can wash them off. They have biothane with gripper. There's different widths. I tend to go with the smallest width that I can get away with. So lots to check out on that front. Here are some management techniques in action. If you look at this puppy, you can see that her fur is a little bit wet. She's got a toy tucked under her chin. She's wearing a harness, and she's got an indoor drag line. Indoor drag lines are very, very handy. Basically, you take a cheap leash, a cheap cloth leash or something like that, and you cut it off. So you cut the handle off for sure, and maybe it's only 2 or 3 feet, but you've always got something you can grab the puppy. Another house training tip is to have the puppy on a leash always, and you have them tethered to your waist or belt loop with a carabiner or something. Therefore, the puppy is always with you. He can't sneak off and potty. So this is a good picture that encapsulates a lot of management techniques in action. One other management technique that we're going to show a little instructional video on is the gotcha. It's basically a collar grab. Puppies and dogs, they don't like having their collar grabbed. It's kind of rude, as a matter of fact, and then we drag them around by the collar. So we want to try to avoid that. Having a drag line on a puppy helps, because then you can just pick up the line and take them away. You don't have to grab the collar. But there will be times when you need to have an emergency collar grab, and a gotcha will teach your puppy what to expect.
From time to time, we need to grab a dog or a puppy by the collar, which can be disconcerting to the dog. A little advanced work takes the stress out of collar grabs. Say the word gotcha and reach for the dog's collar. With the other hand, immediately let him nibble on some treats.
Gotcha.
Gently move him around by the collar while giving treats.
It might seem, with these next few minutes of discussion, that it is amazing, it's a miracle that any puppy survives to adulthood. I think a lot of us feel that way about our children as well. There are many, many hazards out there, which isn't to say you're going to encounter all of them, but you do want to be aware of them. You have just as many around the house hazards as well. So just be very mindful, and really a puppy is like a toddler with a fork looking for an outlet to stick it in. So constant supervision, and make sure that you know what's in your environment. We're going to move on to the new topic of relationship, and relationship is a very key concept for dog training. Basically, at the end of the day, you would like your dog to do things because you ask them to, or they want to, or because they're part of the pack. You want them to be compliant because they enjoy being with you. So that is your goal, and we're going to help you get there. It is important in a relationship to have mutual respect. It's not like you can say, I am human, you are dog, therefore you must do everything I say. It's important to consider their needs and emotions, and they will reciprocate. Companionship, remember, hopefully you're getting a dog because you want to spend time with them. They are social pack animals, and they need to be with you. Dogs have emotions. There's been a lot of really interesting work done with functional MRIs to show how similar dog emotions can be to people. So it is important. And finally, we're going to round this out with communication. And really, beginning puppy, family dog one, almost any activity, any structured activity you're doing with your dog is going to involve communication. And that's really important. We're going to talk about that a bit more later. I think this is an apt quote. Dogs do speak, but only to those who know how to listen. And you're going to learn how to listen. Interactive play is one of my favorite ways to develop relationship with dogs or puppies. All puppies want to play, and it is in your best interest to play interactively with them. You've lots and lots of options: balls, discs, squeaky toys, tug toys, flirt poles. They all have advantages and disadvantages. It's great to teach your dog to bring a ball back. That is wonderful. Just be aware that playing fetch a lot and excessively is not, can be damaging to their bodies. Discs or frisbees, another fun activity. Obviously, puppies shouldn't be jumping up for discs, but you can certainly teach them how to pick up and bring a disc back, so that when their bones are nice and solid and their joints are ready, you can play disc with them. Squeaky toys are wonderful. They generally are nicely textured. Tug toys. Tug can be, I don't think as much anymore, but for a while, a lot of people felt that tugging was not a good thing to do with your dog. And it actually is. Dogs love to play tug, some breeds more than others, and it's going to be a very useful skill for you to develop. You're going to have rules, you know, no biting, give me the toy, that sort of thing. And flirt poles. Some people really like flirt poles. That is basically almost like it almost looks like a horse lunge whip, and you have a toy at the end, and you stand there, and you know the flirt pole goes in a circle. They're kind of fun for a while, although most dogs figure them out pretty quickly. But it's another good way to play and exercise dogs, particularly those dogs with like to play chasey games. Different breeds have different preferred forms of entertainment. We're going to show you just a little instructional video on how to play tug with your puppy.
To teach a dog to find toy play with people rewarding, make sure you have the right kind of toy. The toy should be soft and fun to bite with a lot of motion. The handler should keep the toy relatively low to the ground, constantly moving it around and away from the dog. The intensity of the tugging should be initiated by the dog, and a little game of keep away is always fun too.
Another really important aspect or component of a good relationship are how you use meals, praise, and touch. Ultimately, while we do tend to use a lot of food in dog training classes because that is the most expeditious, and you can get a lot of repetitions, you don't want food to be the only tool in your toolbox. You want to have toy play as an option, and you want to have praise be meaningful to your puppy, and you want touch to be meaningful to your puppy. We've got a couple of interesting videos that we want to show you because one of the most important things about rewarding dogs is that the action or the item needs to be rewarding to the puppy, not just because you think it should be rewarding. So we're going to show a couple of different videos about a dog that enjoys touch, a dog that would prefer not to be touched, and using food.
Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. This is a favorite position of his. Pushing his face, his head into my legs. Good boy. Good boy. What a good boy you are. What a good boy. Yeah. Oh, good. Good boy. Shedding. You're crazy. Good boy. Wow, shedding. You're really shedding. You're really shedding. You're shedding. You're shedding. You're shedding. Tell me about it. Tell me all about it. This is fun, isn't it? You fun? Oh, shedding. I'm going to have to vacuum now. Oh, good boy. Good boy. Good boy. You good boy. Good boy. There's my good boy. Another favorite position of his. Good jobby. Good jobby. Good boy. Good boy. Okay. That was good. Here's a session working with Lil with just giving food, no voice, no praise. And you can see that she's trying to figure out what we're doing. I'm going to offer some tricks. And I'm just trying to give her food for not reaching, trying not to time it so that she thinks she's being rewarded for the pawn shake. And you can see how she's showing me something's bugging her about that rear leg. So I look, end of session. This is the end of the video where Lil was offering tricks. And it continued into me introducing touch into a training session. And this is a very different experience for most dogs than just introducing touch in day-to-day life. And this is in slow-mo, so you can see everything Lil's doing very clearly. She is trying to get away from touch, but not quite leaving the vicinity. And then she's thinking, you know what? I would like some more food, so I'm going to come back over here. And she's having conflicted feelings, right? She wants to engage with the food, but she's not so into the touch. Here's the same video just in real time so you can see how quickly all of that's happening. It's really important to see how our dogs act differently when in training mode versus day-to-day life. And this is a perfect example of that.
Another key component of a great relationship is having a dog that is well socialized. And you need to be very careful about your definition of socialization, because to a lot of people it just means, I want my puppy to meet a lot of other puppies. That's not really what you want. What you want is a puppy who has a lot of positive, novel world experiences so that they are resilient and can cope with change later on in life. You know, if you put your dog into a lot of different situations, you want to make sure that the environment is going to be safe for them. You want your puppy to always feel safe and comfortable so that you build up trust in your puppy's eyes. You also want to develop situational awareness, which is basically what's coming down the trail or what's going on in the environment that might be scary or harmful to my puppy. Very important to get your puppy to trust you. Part of a good relationship is dog-to-dog play, or at least you want your dog to be comfortable meeting strange dogs. This is not to say that you should encourage your puppy to say hi to every puppy or dog that comes along. If you do this, you're building up an expectation that when they become an adult, you're going to be sorry that you created. So good play behaviors. This is really important because you don't want your dog to be in a situation around strange dogs where they have a bad experience, which could lead to behavior problems down the road. So good play behaviors are characterized by a nice soft body. You know, the dogs almost look floppy. If two dogs are playing, you want to see role reversal. Sometimes I'm the chaser, sometimes I'm the chased, sometimes I'm on the top, sometimes I'm on the bottom. You also want to see dogs who take breaks in play. They play. They each take a little play break, and then they might start up again. The other thing that is nice to see is mirrored body language. One of them offers a play bow, the other one offers it back. We have a few videos to show you about play. There's going to be 2 with adults and puppies. In fact, many people feel that the best type of socialization a puppy can get is received by an appropriate adult dog as opposed to puppy on puppy play. And what we want you to notice in these upcoming videos are the differences between the adult puppy play and the puppy play.
While playing comes naturally to puppies, they still need to learn how to play appropriately with other dogs. The best case scenario is an appropriate adult dog playing with a puppy. Good adult mentors are extremely tolerant with very young puppies, yet provide more structure weekly as the puppy matures. The nice things about this play session are the relatively low energy and arousal level, the reciprocity of the play, and the safety and trust the puppy feels with this adult as evidenced by his vulnerable positioning. This young male tentatively initiates play and then discovers, oh hey, it's a girl. He appropriately presents himself for sniffing and gets a couple of play paws to the face to indicate that Jiva, the adult female, approves.
Very social. No problem. Oh, look at that fly move.
You can see he is social but cautious as he does zoomies well out of Jiva's range. He would very much like to steal the toy. In fact, Jiva indicates, take it if you dare, but he doesn't. She cements ownership by placing one paw over the toy. His avoidance of direct eye contact indicates he respectfully declines to joust for the toy. All in all, nice play and nice, soft, floppy body language. This is an example of two young puppies playing together for the first time. The male golden retriever is slightly younger than the female lab pup. You can see how a small difference at this young age can create a play advantage. This play seems pretty good on the surface, but if you watch closely, you will notice a lack of reciprocity, and the golden puppy always ends up on the bottom. Also, you probably can't hear it in the video, but the golden pup cries a couple of times when the lab pup play bites him a little too hard. The nice thing is that whenever this happens, the lab pup reduces her bite nicely. Puppies have very sharp teeth which aid them in learning bite inhibition during play. One puppy bites a little too hard, her playmate gives vocal feedback, and she has just learned not to clamp down so hard the next time. These two puppies will make fine playmates, but the lab puppy should also have playtime with an adult dog who will set gentle but firm boundaries.
Now, the other important thing is to learn how to recognize when there is inappropriate play behaviors or when the body language is incorrect. In fact, the first place to start is with this photo. In this photo, if you look at this puppy, he has a stick. And you see the whites of his eye as he's looking at the bigger dog, and you see his ears. One ear is down and the other ear is up. This is a puppy who is in conflict because he's resource guarding his stick. So lots of stuff happening in this picture that's very, very interesting. The other dog doesn't care about his stick, but he cares about it, and he's worried the other dog cares about it. So body language is the way to tell when you've got inappropriate play behaviors. Could be characterized by a stiff body, undue focus, staring. Staring is very rude. Sustained high arousal, which means a sustained high energy, and lack of reciprocity in play. We have one video to show you that has a lot of inappropriate play behaviors, although they are good-natured. But you do want to be really, really careful, because if your puppy's in a situation where there's inappropriate play or body language, try to get them out of the situation. Don't have them tough it out. You don't want them to have a bad experience that you have to spend a lot of time trying to repair later down the road.
This adolescent male initiates a play session by jumping on Jiva, the adult female's head. He gets a growl and a body freeze in warning for his troubles. He wisely retreats, is forgiven, and play resumes. The play is rough and he continues to jump on her, but play is mostly reciprocal until they take a break where he does a shake-off to relax himself. Play breaks are good and should be encouraged. Jiva starts to take more control of the play by forcing him onto the floor, pinning him very briefly, showing all of her teeth punctuated by a sharp bark. You wouldn't want to correct a female for growling or flashing her teeth, as these are merely communication. Our young rake isn't taking the play nicely hint and keeps jumping on Jiva's head. Finally, he is pinned with a soft warning as evidenced by her turning her head away. His final mistake is a short, defiant snap at Jiva's face, which brings out a strong correction on her part. Lots of barking and posturing with no injury done, save to the male's rumpled pride. Finally, Jiva asserts her position by walking over to his towel and toy, sniffing him and demonstrating she could take the toy if she so desired. Jiva's work is done.
Now we can talk about dog parks. Dog parks are a mixed bag. I mean, it's definitely the good, the bad, and the ugly. It is frustrating, I understand, because dog trainers say, well, you need to socialize your puppy. And part of socializing your puppy is having them have good experiences with other dogs. However, we generally don't recommend the dog park. While you can find great people and great dogs there, you can also find the other. Which are people who are not paying attention to their animals, or inappropriate dogs or aggressive dogs are in the dog park. We would definitely recommend that you find a play group where your puppy is in a well-matched situation that he enjoys. There are many, many inappropriate behaviors at a dog park. Dogs form a pack. They might pick on weaker dogs. They might pick on the dogs that are coming in the door. There can be fights. So dog parks can be dangerous for puppies. They might not be the best place. The other thing that you want to consider is how dog parks affect your relationship with your dog. If you only go to dog parks, you don't play with your puppy, you don't train your puppy, you don't take them for walks, you just go to the dog park, they can have a wonderful time playing with a bunch of dogs. They can get some great exercise, but you are undermining your relationship with your dog because he's getting all of his mental and physical stimulation from an outside source rather than you. It's much better if you can have your puppy receive most of the good things in life from you. All right, we're going to move on to training. Training is really all about teaching your dog how to communicate with you. But it's also about teaching you how to communicate with your dog. So your dog is learning verbal cues, English, Spanish, whatever, and you need to learn body language and what his vocalizations mean. So it is a two-way street. It's not just dog needs to learn to obey. It's you two are learning to communicate with each other. And the less stress that is in this process will determine the nature of your relationship. We train with positive reinforcement, which is basically after a behavior, if we like the behavior, we have something good happen to the puppy. Either you play with them or they get food or whatnot. So basically, eliciting behaviors or capturing behaviors or observing behaviors that you like and rewarding them immediately will increase the likelihood that you'll see those behaviors again. Now, something that's really important is, and we touched on this earlier, is that whatever you're using to reward the puppy needs to be rewarding from the puppy's point of view. You might think that cut up cheese is the most amazing thing on the planet, but if it's not good for if your puppy doesn't like it, it's not going to help you in your training. And remember that each puppy is an individual. You're going to have some puppies who prefer food, some who would rather have play rewards. In fact, take a moment and think of all the things that you might be able to use to reward your puppy. Some people use water, toys, play, touch, praise. Lots and lots of ways to reward your puppy, but it's up to you and your observational skills to ascertain whether your puppy actually enjoys what you are giving them. Also, you want to bear in mind that whatever is happening, your puppy is developing a reinforcement history. And you want to make sure that most of your puppy's interactions are going to be good ones that they enjoy. It is inevitable that bad things happen in life, right? In this poor puppy's life, he's been dressed up in a Halloween costume. He's had to take a bath. He's had to go to the vet and wear a cone. These are all really negative experiences, but if he's got enough positive reinforcement history, then he will develop the resiliency to sail through the bad times. In dog training, we try to capture and reward the behavior the instant that it happens. This, of course, is impossible. Let's say we're using food. We cannot get the food in the dog's mouth instantaneously. But what we can do is we can bridge the time from when the puppy did the right behavior to when we deliver the reward using a tool. And the tool that we use is either a clicker or a marker. And it's basically just a noise or a word that says, that is exactly what I wanted. I like to think of it as a camera. You're trying to take a picture of your child this instant he kicks the soccer ball, click. So it's basically a noise or a word that tells them that thing you just did, you just earned a reward. So we're going to show you a couple of different videos. One is using a clicker and one is using a word. And whether you use a clicker or a word is really dependent on what's most comfortable for you. A clicker is another piece of equipment, so that can be a bit off-putting when you've got a lot of new things going on. However, it is also very accurate and it makes your timing better. And timing is absolutely mission critical. The better your timing is, the more accurate and consistent your timing is, the more quickly, clearly, and concisely, and more stress-free your dog will learn. When you choose your marker word, you want basically one syllable. So yes, yup, yip. There's lots of single syllable words that you can use. So pick one. And then your homework number 3 is to choose and load a marker word. Loading a marker word means giving it value. And we're going to show you a little video on how to make that happen.
Timing is crucial when teaching an animal a new behavior. In order to properly capture the instant the desired behavior occurs, we create a marker word which bridges the time between when the animal gives the behavior and when the treat or toy, reinforcer, is actually delivered. A marker should be a single word of one syllable, like yes, yep, yep, good. Well, you get the idea. Notice how the dog's tail starts wagging as soon as he hears the marker word. With some treats in a pocket or a treat bag, say yes, and then move your hand to get the treat. Do not move your hand first. Note that the reward begins the instant you mark the behavior and doesn't end until the reward is concluded. Now that's a nice long reward. Timing is crucial when teaching an animal a new behavior. In order to properly capture the instant the desired behavior occurs, we create a clicker noise, which bridges the time between when the animal gives the behavior and when the treat or toy reinforcer is actually delivered. A clicker is readily available, inexpensive plastic dog training tool. Notice how the dog's tail starts wagging as soon as he hears the clicker? With some treats in a pocket or a treat bag, click and then move your hand to get the treat. Do not move your hand first. Note that the reward begins the instant you click the behavior and doesn't end until the reward is concluded. Now that is a nice long reward.
The next thing that's really important is attention. If you cannot get your puppy or dog's attention, it really doesn't matter what you say next because they're not listening. Mostly we use the dog's name to ask for attention, but you can also capture offered attention, which means that if you're walking or you're out and about and your puppy just offers to look up at you, reward that, even if you didn't ask for it. And you will create a puppy that checks in with you often. That's offered attention. And that is your fourth homework assignment, is to notice and reward offered attention, especially when you're walking your dog. Keep an eye on him with your peripheral vision, and anytime he looks up at you, click or mark with your new marker word and then give them a treat. You will get a puppy who naturally start to offer you attention. Additionally, you can teach them that when you say their name, you want them to give you attention, which is characterized generally by them looking at you. So homework number 5 is teaching them to respond to their name. And we have a couple of instructional videos for you on that regard. Our next behavior that we're going to learn, and this is a very simple behavior. In fact, you might say this is silly, which is what I thought when I first learned it. But there are so many applications for the Find It game. Find It is basically just taking a treat and tossing it on the ground and teaching the dog that Find It means they're going to need to look for a treat. It utilizes their chase instinct, their search instinct. It's great. You can use Find It to connect with your dog. You can use Find It to redirect. Some of our dogs are going to develop bad habits like bark at another dog. You can use the Find It to redirect that behavior onto something more appropriate, which is basically hunting for food. So Find It can be an alternative behavior. You can use Find It to create space from scary things. Let's say that there's going to be something scary in the environment and you want your puppy to have more space. Use a Find It away from the item. Another variation on Find It is a cookie scatter. And that's where you take a whole bunch of treats and just dump them on the ground right in front of the puppy. That can be a technique that you might use when people come home and your puppy would otherwise be jumping on them. And Find It is actually the very first step towards teaching your puppy to come when called. So that is in everybody's top 3 list, I think. We are going to show you how to do Find It with a little video.
Find It is a very simple exercise that has many useful applications. Let your dog nibble on a treat and then introduce some movement so that your dog can easily follow it. Once he is following the treat, toss it on the ground a couple of feet away. He should pick up and eat the treat and reorientate to you because, hey, that was fun. As he comes back, get his attention on the second treat and repeat in the other direction. As your dog becomes more proficient, label the behavior Find It before you toss the treat.
Another thing that we're going to work on, or at least develop the foundation for in beginning puppy class, are stationing behaviors. And stationing behaviors are basically teaching the dog that they are to remain physically connected to some sort of an object. So our little black and white dog here, he's on a mat. And a mat can simply be a bath mat with a non-skid backing. We're going to use platforms. And we're also going to use a mark bucket. And each of these things are stationing behaviors, and we're going to use them for different things. So, for example, go to your bed. So these will be introduced in beginning puppy class. They also have the added benefit of being novel objects, and you know, everything is new to your puppy.
Let's start teaching your dog to go to his bed using a non-slip bed or bath mat. Luring your dog onto the mat using a treat right by his nose. Reward him in place several times, then toss a treat to the other side of the mat. Your dog should pick up the treat, reorientate, and return to you. Make sure he has to cross the mat in order to return. As the dog crosses the mat, mark or click when his feet are on the mat, then give him a cookie. Repeat this process. Mark training starts with teaching your dog or puppy to put his 2 front feet up on a mark bucket or other easy-to-use objects. The dog's job is to stay in position until otherwise cued. You can't really start too soon. Mark or other stationing training is especially useful in multiple dog households, as each dog knows what to do until it's his turn. This reduces anxiety and frustration. Mark or other stationing behaviors help provide clarity and structure both in day-to-day life and in training sessions. This little guy is off to a fine start.
We're going to move on to what to bring to class. In terms of equipment, we would like you to bring your mat. You can bring a thin bed instead, but it would be great to start bringing your mat, because one of the nice things about a mat is it's portable. Please bring a water bowl. Have your puppy on a 6-foot leash. No flexi leads, please. Those are a bit counterproductive to what we're going to be working on. You may want to have a tab collar. A tab collar is really a super duper short leash, such that you can just reach down and grab the tab collar when your puppy's playing to split up the play. So a tab collar can be nice. If you're going to use a clicker, then bring your clicker. Have your puppy in a flat collar, which is basically just a regular buckle collar or clip collar. And if you have your puppy in a harness or he pulls, then bring your puppy harness as well. We can double check to make sure that it fits well. And harnesses are better in general because it takes all the pressure off the trachea and distributes it along the body, as opposed to putting all the weight around the neck. The other thing that's going to be imperative is attitude. Come prepared for fun. So in terms of food rewards and what to bring to class, you know, we are predominantly going to use treats, although we will use other tools. Your treats should be soft as opposed to crunchy. Light colored treats are nice because we're going to be tossing some on the ground in the form of find-its and such. It is important to have some variety, so you can learn what your puppy likes and you can learn what works and what doesn't work. And it's helpful if you, at least some of them are bite-sized. Sometimes it's helpful to have slightly bigger chunks for them to chew on, but in general, bite-sized treats. It also helps if you can skip their breakfast or the meal prior to class, or at least reduce. I know a lot of puppy people feel they cannot skip their dog's breakfast, but believe me, you will go through more calories in a training class than a meal. So much better that they start at least on a somewhat empty stomach. We would also like you to bring a couple of toys to class, and we would encourage you to buy 2 identical toys, because we're going to teach something called the 2-toy game, and it's important to have 2 identical toys. Characteristics of good toys for puppies would be that they're soft to bite. I mean, think about it. Some people say, well, my puppy doesn't like to tug. Well, you're having them tug a rock hard rope. Go for fleece and synthetic wool, and you want toys with a lot of movement. Movement in toys creates motivation, and that's the stage you're at with puppy, is motivating them to play. Some toys are tuggable and other toys are chaseable. So these are 3. You don't have to buy these 3, but these are 3 that I like and own, actually. In your supplemental handout, we've given you links for all of these as well. But the toy on the bottom, the fleecy stick, that is the best kind of toy when we're eventually going to teach them to give the toy up. But try and buy 2 identical toys and bring them to class, please. Paraphernalia. A lot of people like having treat bags. Treats can get kind of nasty in your pockets. So I would recommend that you either have a treat bag or you have a vest with pockets, something that you don't mind getting a little grungy and easy to wash. You might want to bring a stuffed Kong or a chew toy. There is some downtime when the humans talk during class and puppies get bored. A snuffle mat is another good option to bring to class. Basically, you want to have something to keep your puppy occupied when there's other things going on, so that he doesn't develop habits like staring at the other puppies or barking at the other puppies or vocalizing. All right, so let's just summarize the homework. We have the potty party game, which is a house training game. Our crate training exercise, choosing and loading a marker word or clicker, offering rewarding offered attention. We've got a name game video to homework for you, and then find it. It is our expectation that you have played with these games and your puppy understands them when he comes into the first class. So after class, you can expect that we will send you an email follow-up, and it will outline what we covered in class. We will send you some detailed links to handouts if there's a behavior that requires a little more explanation than just a summary. We will send you some video links of things that we worked on so that you can have visual support, and we will be giving you homework. Homework should be fun. And if you're not in the right frame of mind, maybe you skip the homework for that minute. But homework is best done multiple short sessions. It might be 5 or 10 minutes, 2 or 3 times a day, and routinely use your management tools. Even if you think, I'm never going to need this, it's much better to have the skill and not use it than to come up against a problem and then have to crate train your dog. So our pro tip is practice. After beginning puppy, there's lots and lots of things that we offer here at Marin Humane. You can see we have obedience programs, animal assisted therapy programs. We can help you with behavior modification, which are one-on-one sessions that address behavior issues as opposed to training issues. And in terms of advanced programs that we offer, we do have a sport dog program for dogs who are very energetic, athletic, need a job, need something to do, have too much energy, etc. We have scenting and nose work, which is actually something that puppies can do right from the beginning. It's very interesting and very wonderful watching a puppy do what comes naturally. Scenting and nose work has the added advantage that the handler doesn't have to do that much work. They just have to stay out of their dog's way. For a little bit higher energy, our agility classes. We have everything from beginning agility to master's handling, and we have field rental. And we also offer flyball. So we have all kinds of things later on down the road. So thank you very much for sticking with us through this just about hour presentation. We are looking forward to seeing you and having fun with you and your puppies. Happy training.